Hey, good Wednesday morning. Here we are at another midweek point, and I'd like to take just a couple minutes, if I may, to share a little bit of encouragement with you from God's Word. The last week or so, I've been working my way through the book of Luke, and a couple of passages have had some really interesting things happen in them, and I'd like to share with you a couple of thoughts about those. In Luke chapter 6, beginning at verse 6, we read where Jesus was in the synagogue on a Sabbath day, and there was a man with a shriveled hand. And the Pharisees and the teachers of the law were watching Jesus to see whether or not he would heal on the Sabbath. And so he had the man stand up and he healed his hand and he made his hand normal, just like the other hand. Well, the passage goes on to say in verse 11 that the Pharisees and the teachers of the law were furious with Jesus and they began to discuss what they might do to him. Interestingly, in Mark chapter 3, in the parallel passage of that incident, it says that the Pharisees were trying to think of ways that they could actually kill Jesus. In Luke chapter 8, beginning at verse 26, we see another incident where Jesus did something really good, and yet some people were really upset with him. So in Luke chapter 8, as I said, beginning at verse 26, we see where there was a man who lived out in the tombs, so to speak. He was demon possessed. And in verses 26 to 38 of Luke chapter 8, we read the account of this man who was demon possessed. He was violent. He was chained, but he was so strong and violent he could break the chains. He would cry out all the time. He would cut himself, and he was not in the right state of mind, the scriptures tell us. Well, long story short, you can read the passage, but Jesus ordered the demons out of that man and sent the demons into a herd of pigs. And the passage tells us that the man was found dressed because he had not even been wearing clothes. But now, after Jesus had cleansed him of the demons, he was dressed and he was in his right mind, sitting at the feet of Jesus. And what we see in that passage is that the people, rather than appreciating what Jesus did for this man, they were filled with fear and they asked him to leave the area. In fact, in Mark chapter 5, in the parallel account of that passage, it says that they pleaded with Jesus to leave. Well, the thing that I got thinking about with that, both of those passages, is this. And we recognize that there's the spiritual implications in those passages. You know, the Pharisees viewed Jesus as a threat and they were looking for any way to get rid of him. You know, we understand that. We know that. But the thing that I was thinking about that's kind of like a secondary thing from these passages that we could glean from is this. Here, Jesus did something in each of those instances that was wonderful. It was great. It was for the benefit of others. And the people should have been cheering him on. And yet, instead, they were looking for ways to either kill him or pleading with him to get out of there. And here was a man with a shriveled hand. And we can only imagine what that might have been like for that man, but a shriveled hand going through life like that. And Jesus heals him. And again, instead of the people being glad and rejoicing in that and seeing the goodness of God, the Pharisees are looking for ways to actually kill Jesus. And then again, in Luke chapter 8, here was a man who was living in the tombs and demon possessed, and his life was a wreck. He was a wreck mentally and emotionally and spiritually and even physically. And just at the words of Jesus, the man is delivered, he's cleansed, he's healed, he's redeemed. It's a great, great thing. And it's almost like the people are more concerned about the pigs and they plead with Jesus. They're begging him to get out of here, get away, go somewhere else. How sad. How sad it is that in both of those instances, Jesus did something wonderful for the benefit of somebody else, and yet there were those who scoffed at him. Well, it got me to thinking, if we're all honest, there's probably times when we've all been like that. When somebody's done something really wonderful, but we've scoffed at it. Maybe it wasn't done the way we think it should have been done. Maybe it wasn't done in the timing that we thought it should have been done, or maybe there was just something different about it, or a different approach, or it wasn't an idea that we thought of, so we kind of scoff at that. But the Bible reminds us that we are to be looking for the good in circumstances, and be saying things that encourage others and lift them up. Here was the work of God right in front of these people as Jesus was performing these wonderful miracles. And the people missed out on the work of God because they were so focused on what they were upset about. But Psalm 105, verse 4, reminds us of the importance of seeing God at work, as it says, seek the Lord and his strength. And one Bible version of that verse says this: keep your eyes open for God, watch for his works, and be alert for the signs of his presence. What a different world it would be if that's the way everybody lived, instead of always looking to undermine or scoff or complain about other people or what they're doing. We're reminded in Ephesians 4:29 that it says that we're to say what is helpful to build other people up. And in 1 Thessalonians 5:11, that emphasis is echoed when it says, encourage one another and build each other up. Each day we have a choice whether we're going to be like the Pharisees or the people in Luke chapter 8 and ignore or disregard the works of the Lord and the good works that people do around us. Or are we going to keep our eyes open for what God is doing and his presence and his works? And are we going to be appreciative of the things that other people do, the good things that they do as well? So this is Pastor George praying that God's word makes a difference in your life today and that you have a great day as you check out those passages. God bless you.